Subin is an illustrator currently based in New York City. She makes images using colorful, blocky shapes and loose lines. She is inspired by themes of home, culture, and identity. The series of grocery bags represent all the different parts of the world she calls home, including the Portland Farmers Market. Today, you're going to create your very own farmers market bag. You can either use light colored paper or a white piece of paper. It's up to you. I've done it with both. You'll also need crayon or oil pastel and watercolors. Then to finish it off, a black marker or Sharpie. To start, on your piece of paper, I'm using white, but remember you can use a lightly colored piece. You're going to begin by drawing the grocery bag, the farmer's market bag. It's this netted fabric. So I'm going to start with the handle and I'm going to make it really thick and I'm pressing down really hard. For this project, we are going to use crayon resist with the watercolor. So we need to make sure we put down a nice thick line of wax, so either the crayon or the oil pastel. Once you've done your handle for your bag like this, and again, I'm making it real thick, I'm gonna then go and fill up my space and create the netting for my farmer's market bag. So I'm gonna start with the outline, and again, I'm really filling the space. And then I'm gonna start creating a diagonal set of lines. So it's gonna go one way, and then I'll go the opposite way to create my netting. All right, that's simple enough. Now I'm going to use my watercolors and begin coloring in and painting a bunch of different fruits and vegetables. It can be fruits and vegetables that you really like to eat. It can be fruits and vegetables that you've grown before in your own garden, or it can be fruits and vegetables that remind you of a special place you visited, right? So I'm going to start with a pear. You can go online to look up images of fruits and vegetables that you like, or you can draw from memory. It's up to you. But what's really gonna bring your images to life, what's gonna bring your fruit to life, your fruits and veggies, is making sure you add lots of layers. So for this pear, you can see I started with the green, and then I added more yellow, a little bit of a darker green. Now I'm working on a kiwi, and so it's kind of like this green, but it's also brown. And so I'm really showing that with my watercolor. What's really lovely about the watercolor is you can blend a lot of colors beautifully. You'll also notice as I work that the crayon or the oil pastel, if that's what you choose to use, is really pushing the water off of the netting. And so it looks like my fruit is really inside the bag, even though I'm adding it after. All right, next up is a mango. And look, you can see I start with one color, and then I used water to kind of dilute and move the paint around. After that, I'll start adding in the different colors of a mango. They're more yellow, they've got some green in it. And I'm just gonna keep adding and building, really filling my farmer's market bag with all the delicious things that I grow, that I love to eat. The things that remind me of home. All right, from here, it's just a matter of continuing to fill up your farmer's market bag. I'm going to keep this rolling, so I'm not going to fade in and out, so you can really see as I work, as I add details and I add colors. But I also encourage you to get started right away as I'm working. It definitely took me longer than the 10 minutes this video is, so feel free to pause, feel free to kind of look away for a second and then come back and see what I've done as you start your own work. I mean, there's so much amazing produce right now. There's olives, blueberries, carrots, radishes, onions, bananas, watermelons, pickles, peas, chilies, strawberries, mushrooms. It's just incredible how much good food there is that we can eat, and that's good for us. So I'm going to keep working. I encourage you to keep working, and I can't wait to see your guys' farmers market bags. One thing I do is when my fruit starts to dry, that base layer, I'll go in with my white watercolor and add some highlights. Then afterwards, you'll see I start mixing brown and black with other colors to create darker versions of the fruit colors that I made. And then I'll add those to my shadows just to keep bringing my fruit to life. That's optional because the artist actually keeps hers really flat and like block shapes. So it's up to you if you want to make yours look more realistic like I'm doing by adding shadows and highlights, or if you want to keep them real flat. It's a stylistic choice, so you can do either. When your work is done, be sure to let it dry before you move on. All right, the last thing inspired by Subin Yang's illustrations is she has little faces on all of her fruits and vegetables, and she uses the black to kind of add some details. So I'm going to use my black Sharpie or black marker, if that's what you have, to go over, and I'm adding more details to the fluff of my radishes, the bundle, and then I'm going to start adding really small faces. They're not super big, they're not super detailed. Think like dots and small lines to create the faces of our fruits and veggies. You can also use the marker to add details to some of the fruits. So like for my raspberries, you'll see, I'll add in the little individual sections of raspberries. I don't want to go overboard, but I think it's a really cute touch. So be thoughtful when you're adding your faces, and I can't wait to see your farmer's market bag of delicious fresh groceries and produce. All right, you guys, your farmer's market bag full of delicious produce are finished. Here are a couple others. I can't wait to see yours.